Webinar, we have some decent surprises. We're going to talk about algo trading, people's issues with it. Generally, this is to serve y'all. I expect this to take about half an hour to get full maximum number of people. I'm also, just as a housekeeping thing, I'm thinking of doing our next session next Tuesday on Substack. I just want to test that out. I tested it out on a random one on Saturday night because I had nothing better to do. My life as it is. Okay, I want to show you something that's pretty cool. Let's check this out. All right, so I've shown this before. This is the new system coming along that's pretty good. That's the JavaScript front end for the C++ system. Currently, I am testing out the good old Kimi K3. So right there, or I should say right here, this is using C-line in VS Code. It's making the transpiling functionality for converting Python scripts, bots, to C++. You can see there, trans, C++ transpiler. That's how far along in AI we've come. So I can now, hopefully by tonight, be able to get this working with Kimi K3. A couple things I'll say about that AI. That AI model is absolutely incredible. I've just started converting everything over from JavaScript and to replace it with a C++ front end using IM I was not able to do that at all with the most advanced Claude models, including the OpenAI ones as well. Couldn't do it. Here we are on Kimi K3 doing it, and it's very cheap. I think my total cost so far of today is like $18, and it's accomplished a lot. So I'm hoping to finish everything up for under 50, maybe even $100. And I keep saying this is what makes coding almost worthless, because if I'm able to do this, this would take weeks to months with a team for a lot more than $100. So that's where we're at. So, all right. So we got a couple of people on board. Thank you for joining. As I said, this tonight is just nice and easy, no tech, heavy stuff. I've been testing out the responses so far with shorts. People prefer the face, so does YouTube. So I stick with that format. So I'm very limited on what I could show. Okay, so let's talk about the list tonight. All right, so tonight we call it the, if you got any questions, just jump in. I'm hoping the comments work. If somebody wants to jump in, just let me know they can hear me, that they can do all that. Just press 1. Let me know. By pressing 1, that tells me that everything's good and that you can communicate with me two-way. All right, so let's do this. So, okay, so what we're looking at, I don't want to go on about why we're building this out. Like, we already know the benefits of algo trading, automated trading, consistency, the speed, the scale that you can now do, especially now that I'm moving from Python to more C++. A lot of people wanted me, 60% on a little survey did, 60% wanted me to do this in C++. So that's what I'm doing. When you do a lot of the manual stuff, there's a lot of hidden traps as a human. I'm sure you already know about that. So this is just one demo of the capabilities with AI, and it's not just algo trading, but being able to co-generate, or vibe code as the kiddies call it, a trading system platform. I think you still have to have some strong coding skills, at least on the debugging and the architecture side of things, which is very important. The other thing that's important, obviously, are the strategies. Hopefully you've watched my videos on the strategies. I can develop a couple hundred strategies in a week. I can do about 15 a day for each batch that I download, and I'm doing two a day. So that's putting me up to 30 strategies. In fact, if you want to see code, like pseudocode of some of these trading bots, go on my website, quantlabsnet algo.com/blog, or go under more, choose blog. My two latest posts in there have pseudocode for an ES future trading bot strategy, whatever you want to call it. And also there's another one for the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio as well. So there's two separate posts on that. So just to show you some of the coding snippets and how it's done. And then you can use AI to build your own system and set of trading rules built around that using the HFT code base that I've already got kind of working for quite a number of people now. I don't want to go on the benefits. As I said, there's that. So this is what we can talk about. The overfitting and curve fitting, the best solution for that is just use real market data. Don't let a program or an AI or just use any simulated data, because that's where your danger comes in on the curve fitting and overfitting. If you use real historical market data, you'll get rid of all those problems and it'll make your back tests a lot more accurate. And again, you just don't want to run into where if you're going to go with AI to use simulated data, it's useless, because then it's going to give you overrated analysis or underrated. You want to test something robust, it has to be 100% real market data. And the other thing is, when it comes to walk forward, the standard is if you have an idea, whatever your trading idea is, you back test 80% with real market data, and then you do a forward analysis of another 20% to be able to compare that against the balance of real market data. That's usually the standard. I don't need to get into that. There's lots of books on that. But that's still pretty well the standard backtesting and walk forward analysis. Now, it depends on regularization techniques. That could be regarding regulatory, but if you're building it on your own, you don't need to worry about that. And with the ensemble, those are the tools that you're building out to be able to test real market conditions. Again, it depends upon your trading experience, and more importantly, it depends upon your programming language of choice. Again, another thing that a lot of people need to understand is execution and latency. If you're just doing medium frequency data, which probably 99% most retail traders will do, is going to be medium frequency. Python's fine. If you're trying to do low latency, which means you're trying to replicate a high frequency trading environment, which is in my mind right now very overkill, and you need a kind of a larger account to do it. C++ is kind of overkill, and then you have to worry about latency as well. But again, as I just showed you with Kimiki 3, I think it's very capable where you can, as part of your prompting, just to tell it, just to keep and only use low latency techniques. Also, co-location again. There's such a variety of things. There's some companies out there that will specialize in co-location. So, for example, if you're using a platform like NinjaTrader, there's some, or even MetaTrader is another example, where there are hosting providers that will provide you virtual private servers that are geared towards that platform. Only the popular ones. The ones I see mostly is MetaTrader and NinjaTrader. I mean, I'm sure there's others. I just don't know about them. And then you get into things like profiling on your debugging side if you're using more sophisticated coding techniques with C++. Then you get into order book visualization, which I really don't think you really need, because I try to replicate that with AI. Especially Python, you can get away with it, but C++ is another story as well. Again, there's smart order routing. That's more at the broker level. If you're using interactive brokers, that can be a real problem. I'm finding, depends upon what you're trading. If you're just trading equities, I wouldn't worry about it. But if you're trying to do futures and options for it, smart routing can be kind of a problem. I kind of talked about that in past videos on like Rhythmic exchange pipeline versus interactive brokers. Now, when it comes to low latency, again, just as a rare trick here, if you're trying to do low latency, absolutely in C++, what I'd recommend is not to use external frameworks or libraries. If you're going to do AI, let the AI run that for you. Got a question. Just want to thank you content you've been putting out. You motivated me to build my first algo from scratch without any coding experience. Good job, man. That's good to hear, Nuvi. Appreciate that. If you got any other questions, let me know. Thanks for the kind words of support. I'm just gonna whiz through the balance on this. Okay, and we can take other questions if you want. Also proves to me other people are able to communicate with them, which is good. Okay, so the other big one that we talked about is risk and money management as part of the round topics. That comes down to portfolio management, portfolio construction, and allocating money onto proper performing strategies. And that's hopefully what your back testing will reveal. Yeah, and another thing is with this real-time drawdown. So, for instance, if you have a trading bot running, you don't want it to suddenly go into a crash. So what you can do in your coding, and again, you can use prompting for this to allow if the real-time balance in your account is dropping more than, let's say, 2, 3, 5%, you can have the whole system have an internal circuit breaker that will trigger the whole thing to shut down and close out all positions. So that you can do as a safety measure to prevent those sort of things. Now, again, we get into this dynamic stop loss. Most of the strategies that I've been building from the AI just uses simple average true range, ATR. Stress testing scenario is another story as well. Depends upon what broker you go through, what asset class you're trying out. Usually it's not a big concern, except when you go into a high frequency trading environment. It's the last stages now. So the regulatory and compliance risks that can derail the most profitable strategies, that depends upon where you're running locally, or if you're running whatever in the States, you have to understand your regulation. If you're following my path using futures broker as well as with an FCM futures, was it futures commission merchant? I'm using Phillips data for that, and then the broker itself, like EdgeClear. You're going to have those rules that you have to be bound to anyways. And when you sign up, you'll see all the fees that come with it. One you have to be very careful of, just as an example, is if you're doing futures and options data and you don't have enough margin requirement to cover your after 5 p.m., you will get hit on many fees because now your positions are moving into overnight rates for the margin requirement. And if things go bad overnight, Chicago time, recent standard time, you can get liquidation, and they will liquidate your open position, and they add on extra fees for that as well. So you have to be aware of these sort of risk management and compliance as well, because these are hidden unknowns. So these are just some examples so far that I can tell you. Automated trading reports. Best thing I can do is just go with a trading journaling piece of software. In my case, I might go with something called kinfo.com. You can look that up. It's fairly affordable. That will track all your trading, and some of the other ones, the more advanced ones that are competitors, have AI built in to help you analyze what happens with the market data and when you have open positions as well. That's why I have my the new website, the orderbookedge.com. That's what we analyze on open positions. Because that's really important to understand is what happens with the market, why am I not getting an entry, and why am I not getting a profitable exit, okay? So those are the sort of things you need to know about, and that's pretty well it in 15 minutes or under. I don't know. So we got a couple of people still, so if you got any comments, I appreciate if you're still there. Yeah, let me know if you got any other questions or comments. Let me see where we're at with my latest build here. So if you can type something up, that'd be great. Okay, I'm just seeing here what my AI has told me. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to see if I can get this right. If you have any questions or comments on the topics I covered, just let me know. I'm going to try to get this thing running, showing you the actual thing while we're building it. Okay, so again, let me just show you here. I don't know if I can do this here. Yeah, we should be able to do this. Oh, got a question. How are you finding the commission structure with Edge Clear compared to other brokers? It's a little higher, Nuvi, because of the personal touches that you get from the broker. If you're with AMP for the lower commission, the service isn't there. I wasn't really impressed with AMP at all. That's the only real. I asked a couple of other brokers that I wasn't impressed with them, including Globus and Optimus. I just preferred the hands-on touch that you get to actually talk to humans when you call in. So you pay that higher commission for that. So I'm willing to pay for that as well. So if you got questions on that, that's great. Here, I'll show you a demo here. So right here is the new app. That's the C++, as you can see there at the top there, the C++ trading dashboard. I don't think I'll be returning this. We have some tab options there. So these are some of these strategies I can build out. This is like, I don't know, a couple hundred strategies right now. Okay. So in here, this is the interesting one, this transpiler. So everything you see here, this one right here, this is all Python. Okay. That's all Python right there. Okay. So this is how far advanced we've come. Okay. As you can see here, we have some basic information on this strategy, copper AI breakout, direction long, and that's pretty well it. Here's the source code again. That's a Python. That works if I wanted to deploy that, okay? So here you can see I have a transpile to C++ option. Let's see what happens here. So I'm supposed to have this tab here, this transpiler. Let's see if it works. And remember, this is just in development as we speak. Yeah, it's going to crash out. Boom. The joys of programming. But that's just some of the interesting front-end stuff I can do. It's pretty cool. And this is all, again, with Kimi K3, brand new. And it's really, really good AI model. I'm blown away on the capabilities on that. Have you got around to the Python latency issue? Latency issue, no, because I'm going medium frequency. I'm not trying to do we can't do high frequency trading at all in Python. And if you're going on in retail, no, it's not possible. The only way to get, I'll call it true HFT. I don't care what other people call it. We're dealing with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And they operate and own a data center in Aurora, Illinois. Once you get in there and paying for that, then you have very high probability of calling yourself high frequency trading. But just to get access into it, the API costs are exorbitant. Like we're dealing with 6-7 digit account sizes to get you in there to make it worthwhile, and 100% to ensure that your strategy is 100% profitable. Otherwise, there's no point in going that route. So I'm saying anything other than that is really at best is medium frequency. And so far, I've not really run into any problems there in terms of the commissions. As I said, they're a little higher than what you normally pay if you want that personal touch. Because that to me, that's important. Especially I'm kind of new to the world of futures and options. So I can scale up my account size if I need, but I'm keeping it basic and simple for now. So yeah, there's that. So if you guys got further questions, I wasn't sure who, what, when, where people would show up. So right now, what's happening is, as I said, about 2-3 weeks ago, I asked about the survey. People want C++. That's why I'm building this. The other reason why I'm doing C++, just to tell people, I've got Python working. I don't need to run the Rhythmic trading software like Interactive Brokers Trader Workstation. So I can do everything through WebSockets into their environment into Rhythmic servers only by either Python or JavaScript for that particular API. So one of the key things I want to do is to be able to showcase verified trading. Now, here's the problem. As I mentioned earlier, there's different types of trading journaling software out there. I've looked into a variety of them. The best one that I've seen is kinfo.com. The best traders are on there, and they're very transparent, and they're best in class for the trading journaling for that. So as a result, for me, where they support Rhythmic, I have to use the software so that the kinfo will synchronize with the Rhythmic software. I can't do it through the API. So in order for me to do that, I have to have the trading be piped through the Rhythmic software only on Windows. So that enables me to have, I believe they support still real-time trading because it's synchronized to my account. So therefore, I can showcase that trading third party, and that data will sit on their servers. Okay, that's not me hosting it. That's not me replicating it and duplicating it and just pulling it out of my yin yang, right? It's real data hanging off of the kinfo.com servers. Steve Ducks is a great example. He's on their leaderboard. He's the number one trader on kinfo as well. I don't know. I thought I saw a question from you, Nuvi. Sorry. If you did type up a question, I missed it. I think, yeah. If you got another question or anyone else got a question or comment, let me know. So as I said, the reason I'm going C++, Windows only, is to be able to have my trades and orders get executed through the Rhythmic software. I think it's called Rhythmic Trader Pro or something like that. It's Windows only. So, or R Trader, I believe. I can't remember the name, but it's very old software, but that's what they run. It's as sophisticated as, well, it's not the best software at all, but that's what I got to work with to be able to do verified track record and trading. Once that gets set up, and then I have to also test out the C++ connectivity into that as well. So hopefully the next few days I'll do that. Yeah, so that's why C++ as well on Windows. So if you got questions, comments, let me know. I know my 2 weeks ago we had a very short live session, like half an hour. That's okay by me. I want to get all this stuff done. I've been showing you working. Might do another video once I could get it kind of finished up. But again, I'm using for this C++, all open source, and using IamGUI with IamPlot if I want to bring in the visualization as well. This is probably the most advanced I've had, building out a little trading system. And what blows my mind is the ability to do this for pretty low cost with this new Kimi K3 AI model. It's mind-blowing how good it is. I have not been able to get this far with the latest on Claude Opus 4.8. I could maybe try to. I played with the Fable 5 and Sonnet 5. That really is overkill for me. I don't want to spend that extra money. It's really overkill. Since you have so many strategies in development, will you be leasing some of them out there to those who don't want to build their own models? Yeah, excuse me. Hey, let me show you this. That's a good question. As I said, if you go to my website, quantlabsnet.com, this is the best way I can deal with it, okay? So let me flip over to my computer. So this is quantlabsnet.com, okay? So if you come in here, go under More, and then under the blog. This is just one example I'll show you, and I mentioned this earlier. So we have here 2 latest posts here. So let's say people want to know about this inside Bitcoin Ethereum ratio trading bot. So you can see here it says full trading logic with the pseudocode. So what I'm going to do as a premium service is I'm going to make available all the source code here. You can see it right here, starting right here. So this is a trading bot logic, okay? So right here, from this point, we have the trading bot logic, Okay. We also have the market data ingestion pseudocode. Okay. We also have the Ethereum fallback polling pseudocode. We also have the average true range calculation pseudocode, MACD, the volatility regime check, and so on and so on, and the dynamic limit loss circuit breaker pseudocode I mentioned. And also, we also have the guard, safety guard, and maintenance as well. So I'm going to be giving this type of pseudocode at a very premium level. Okay, that's what I'm going to be doing. I won't be giving actual code. I can't with the terms of service with Rhythmic. If people choose to go with Rhythmic, I can't give the exact code because then that reveals all their framework stuff, their library calls. So I can't do that. The best thing I can do is what I just showed you is to provide actual high level pseudocode. So what that means is if I go back, let me just type up this thing here. So I don't know if you know Nuvi. It's been a while since I've heard from you. So if you go to my, maybe for you, hftcode.com, here we have two products that I have available. So let's say this one. This one's built for interactive brokers, trading bot hub, okay, with some working coding examples in Python, okay. We also have equity in there, Forex, Bitcoin, works 100% with Trading Workstation. And I also provide PDF documentation to get you started on how to properly prompt to build out your own trading system. And you can use this, this will work with Claude, okay? That's right now the number one AI tool to develop code with this. So what you do, because it's working code, you use that as your base. And then on top of that, with the pseudocode I just showed you for those individual strategies, you'll be able to use that pseudocode as part of your prompt and integrate it with this project that I just showed you. That's how I'm approaching it because if I give away code, you know, I'm kind of like devaluing my stuff on top of that, and I'm probably on the borderline of going against somewhere along the line terms of service. Now I could do this easily with interactive brokers, but I mentioned that multiple times why interactive brokers I do not recommend if you're going to go futures and options. Now if you want to use this with equity or retail forex for interactive brokers, it's fine. But if you want to go interactive brokers with futures and options, I don't recommend it. You better off to go with a real futures broker and choose Rhythmic as your market data and your provider for your order execution. It's cleaner, it's better, it's faster, and to be honest, it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. So that's how I'm approaching it. But that's going to be at a premium level. I'm not sure what the pricing, but it's maybe a couple $100 a month. Right now, just so you know and other people know, I'm running AI on the product, the description, what the value is of this product. I just raised my course for futures and options at $5,000. It was on Saturday, $250. So that's geared towards institutions. At some point today or tomorrow, I'll be raising all my Substack monthly fees by times 5 because the AI says this is what it's worth. Okay. And now with this stuff that I'm showing you with the interactive brokers HFT code stuff, that's worth 350, maybe $500. So I'll be raising those prices for that. On top of what how I'll get away with it is because the AI is so advanced now, especially the newer introduced meta AI. It guides you on how to market to get those people and get those same people to pay for those prices. And I'm using meta AI to evaluate those prices for these types of products and services. So that's where the pricing comes from. And if I'm able to market to people that are willing to pay for that, done. You know what I mean? So all the old stuff that I've been doing for the last X number of years, it's going to be a totally different ball game now if I'm using AI to help me get accomplish this. Mouthful, I know. but that's where we're at. So a few months ago, you mentioned Virtu working with NVIDIA to release some new chips that are close to FPGA. Any news on that? Yeah, you're referring to what's it called? That cloud provider. It's not Virtu. Vulture. VULTR. Vulture. VULTR. They were working with AMD to provide the hardware. So what happened was, in order for AMD to compete against NVIDIA, what they do now is they went around looking for boutique cloud providers. Vulture was one of them, and a new option was to be able to provide cloud services available through AMD hardware that's hosted on Vulture. Pricing, I don't know, but things have changed drastically because now with the competition of cloud servers, like meaning Azure, Google Cloud, and Amazon, I think those prices are coming down now because they're becoming more competitive. So the one I would probably recommend, if you were to go that route, is go with the Google Cloud. And I say that because the Google Cloud is all integrated now. Two things I could say. First, if I was to pick a tech company that's going to boom, it's going to be Google, okay? Because they have the hardware for the TPUs, the tensor processing units, which are to compete against NVIDIA. They also have the Google Cloud service, so they can host that hardware. On top of, they got the whole ecosystem built for all the coding and IT and networking, all built in as part of the Google Cloud services. So, and then when you look at the new models that are coming out, there's supposed to be a new Gemini 4 coming out. That's going to be, has to compete against what's out there and reduce the costs because these new Chinese models, like the new Kimi K3 and this new other model coming out, the Qwen 3.8, that's really grinding the US AI. They are all now forced to drop their costs. So the new Gemini 4 will be having to be very affordable, like comparable to the Chinese models. Okay, so with that in mind, plus the new IDE they got, which is basically a fork of VS Code, the anti-gravity. It's like if you want a one-stop solution, I would look at Google, and I think Google over time will own the whole space because of what I said. Not only that, but they have the revenue as well because they own Google Search and they own YouTube. So they have all that revenue behind it. That's how I see it. Google sounds okay, but I still need co-location. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't looked at Vulture. I like Vulture, and maybe, just maybe, I might go with Vulture. But this GPU stuff and and NVIDIA, whatnot, I'm going to be honest with you. When I work with the more advanced models, specifically on the C++ I'm showing you or showing whoever, what I'm finding is the AI is so intelligent, it can tell, or it'll build the code for you where it will sense what kind of hardware you have. So if you have, in my case, a little commodity laptop, it'll take care of all the threading for you and code up where everything's done efficiently in the get-go of your project, if it's C++. Therefore, what I'm saying is you don't have to worry about all this back-end stuff regarding GPU and all that. That can be part of your coding. And if you know what your target hardware will be, again, you can then go back into your system and then tell and reprompt the AI, whatever model, let's say right now, Kimi K3, let's just say, you can tell it, here's my hardware target with the specifics, the specifications. It will go out and actually code up everything for that target CPU or GPU, whatever you're working with. So I think it's going to get easier. So what I'm saying is if you feel you have to go with a co-location service like Vulture, you may not need to. You might be beneficial just to go with something like a Google Cloud. Okay. I can't say. That's what I'm suspecting. I'm not there yet myself, but well, hard. It just depends on your goal. I think you may be able to run it off of commodity hardware, off a system with a fast connection and a decent hardware set, and then just let the AI code it up and optimize on the available hardware on that system. So that's one thing. And if you're just going to go through directly through Rhythmic, as I said, with the Rhythmic software on Windows, you will have restrictions. But again, I just don't know what your stock will be like. Like, what are you coding? Who's your broker? Blah, 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 blah. I just don't know. But as it stands right now, that's what I would do. Just keep everything commodity hardware, depending upon what you're wanting to do. And again, the AI is so advanced now, and more importantly, affordable. You could just specify in your prompting what your end hardware configuration is. And, or if you know specifically what kind of server you want to be hosted on, let's say Vultr, you can code up your system like that as well, specifically for whatever server you want. There's many ways to do it. But right now I'm just doing it as is, and it will launch 8 threads that are available on my system and dedicate those threads to upcoming messaging for my strategies that I run in parallel. It's done automatically. It's just part of the intelligence of the AI. And the other thing is I prompted it that way. Just everything really boils down to prompting. Unfortunately. Yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. When it comes to prompting, so far I've only been playing with Kimi, like programming wise, coding wise, Kimi K2 for the last 4 hours. Okay. And I noticed if you don't specifically prompt, Kimi K3 will go off and create other wild coding projects because it just doesn't know. So you specifically have to tell it what you want. And as I said, prompting is the key. And I spent, I don't know, 20 minutes going, I don't want that. And then I have to go back in, reprompt, and add on another 2 sentences to say, this is exactly what I want. And it works. It works great. And the more data you give it, the lower your computation pricing is as well. And that's because if you're going to have an AI have to guess something, that's when it gets expensive. So the more things you provide it, and again, as I said, when it comes to back testing, I know I'm going off here, but if you're going to do back testing, you're going to have the AI simulate that. No, if you can provide the actual hard data, like a CSV file, along with your prompting, you will get much more accurate coding with better results. And on top of it may, I'm not saying it will, depending upon how much historical data you provided in the prompting, it could lower your costs, but you'll definitely get much better output. And last week we had people go, well, how much is data bento? You can spend $1,000 to $4,500 a month just to get market data. I don't see why you'd want to spend that when you can go with Rhythmic and get their API for $100, and you have 3 choices of APIs. So it's very good. Yeah, I'm able to do tick data for futures data. The more important thing is option data. And I'm talking about options, futures on options data, okay? And that is very valuable. That is hard to do. Now, you can't really stream it. You have to download everything in snapshots. You could do it every maybe minute, couple of minutes, because there's a limitation on that. But you can definitely back test it, and not real time. Like futures, yes, you can stream it, but you still have some limitations. But when it comes to options data with a bid and ask, you will hit limits for sure. But I have it where it will go through all of the available option chains, and then the AI will select based upon bid and ask data and open interest and the like. It will pick the appropriate option chain and work off of that option chain. That's how I coded it to work, and it seems to be so far the best approach. But you can't stream option data at all. There's limits because that's what the higher, very expensive API does. It streams it, but you're paying a lot of money for that per month. Good questions, Nuvi. Keep them coming. If anybody else out there's got any questions, let me know. I don't know about this video if I'm going to do for this new C++ system. I have right now a working version in Python, C++ as well. So I am noticing with Kimi code, generated code, it seems to be quite quicker. Less bloat with both OpenAI and the Claude as well. Less bloat meaning faster. That's what the Kimi. It's much more. It seems to be more optimized, more intelligence in the coding capability. I'm very impressed with it. And again, I'm just waiting to get my hands on the Quen 3.8. That's another big one as well. Thank you for the like. Appreciate that. If you guys got any questions, I know we're getting nitty gritty on the on the on this, but if you guys got questions, let me know. And again, for now, we're doing this as is. So please take advantage if you're out there, got questions, because as I said, in the last number of weeks, I'll be becoming less accessible. Because with what I'm building out now, I can see the value, what I'm bringing out. And once I go verify, hopefully be able to generate real alpha, then I can tell you what the prices can be. Have you built an MCP server into any of the models so they can query the data in real time for option chain? I have used MCP. I think MCP might not be the best option. RAG is better because what I do, I can tell you from my experiments using strategies that are run against live data, stream data. Sometimes your entries may not take place. So when you're running the data, you can have it query, why are you not taking an entry? What's wrong with the volatility? What's wrong with this indicator, we'll call it. And then the AI will respond. If you want an entry, this will respond. That kind of thing is great for RAG. So if you're using RAG where you're running a strategy live, using some form of AI to ask queries as the market data comes in that's streamed, you can have built in the model asking questions against an AI to say what's happening here. Why is the data not working as what is in this trading strategy or bot, and have the code on the fly get quite literally rewritten on the fly in real time. Like, I think that's very possible because, as I just showed you earlier, I'm able to compile for our transpile is the proper term to convert Python code into C++, no questions asked. I mean, I built that with GLM 5.2 last week. So I'm redoing the same thing with Kimi K3, and I think it'll be much more advanced, which I just showed you. If you can do that, I just don't see why not. You can have an actual model readjust in real time against market data that's streamed into the model. I think that is very possible. With an MCP server, yeah, you could probably do the same thing, but I don't know if an RAG application is more appropriate. I'd have to break it down, but either way, it's definitely possible. And one way I know, if you want to run it locally, there's two options that you can run with this. I talked to somebody, I think last night or 2 nights ago, regarding LM Studio versus Olama. LM Studio, which I've never used, gives you a user interface so you can do things like generating PDFs and charts. With Olama, you don't worry about that because you're just working with code and having the code get generated. So Olama is more appropriate. And the other cool thing is you just got to make sure you have the proper hardware. You probably could download it working with Quen 3.8, which would be incredible because Quen 3.8 is supposed to be on par with, from what I'm reading, should be on par with Kimi K3. One thing I'll say about Kimi K3, you can't get an open model or an open source model anymore because now it's proprietary. So the Kimi K3 is no different than Claude or OpenAI. The reason that is because now they've IPO'd as a stock, so they are now closed sourced. But I will tell you on the cost front, the affordability is very, very low cost. So that's possible. Now with the Quen, I don't know, but if you're able to download and run Quen 3.8 with the coding capability and the reasoning built in locally, and you can host it, whew, you won't get anything better. I mean, it's this is very exciting potential, and I'm waiting to get my hands on that. That's something I'd like to build out for sure, but I'd rather do it in C++ and just basically having a model analyze the data and then have the model or strategy readjust with what's in the model and just asking why aren't we taking an entry and what would it take to take an entry, and then you have an open position and do the same thing saying we have an open position here, should I add to the position with more orders, reduce it, or just close out, and just ask a local AI to do that and have the code readjust on that on an open strategy. I think that's very, very possible, without a doubt. And having some form of a strategy model that will adjust, regenerate new code and new trading rules as the market is streamed in. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like a genetic algorithm from like 10 years ago, but this is real time AI capabilities and doing it in real time. But again, it just depends upon the cost. But if you have the capability to run it locally on a system, I mean, you have to have a very heavily rigged out system using something like Olama as the host. I don't see why you can't do it. Or you can build out a AI program of some kind to be able to do this and have it all local. But yeah, I think we're at that point now where it's so advanced. I don't see why it should be a problem. I mean, I got a program right now that can load up all my strategies, blah, 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 and then take the Python and I push a button and it converts it into C++, all in C++. I mean, it's absolutely incredible where we're at now. And then there's people going, oh, AI doesn't work, it's useless. No, man, it works. You just got to know how to prompt it. If you don't know how to prompt it, somebody else will, and that will be your competition. And I can assure you that's what people are doing in China. They're not dumb over there. I don't know if the posts are real, what I've seen on LinkedIn, but yeah, I believe it if it's real because I know the capabilities are there. Playing enough with the AI now where, yeah, you could probably do all of this in real time or pretty close to it. You just need really good hardware. And as I said, it has to be optimized and be able to run it in real time with an embedded local sophisticated model, something like Quen 3.8. I don't know, but we are getting there because people are now able to download LLMs onto their phone. And the question is, and why are you building data centers again? Like the trillions of dollars being spent? I don't know how they didn't see that coming. I really don't. Because people are able to download like the new Gemma 4 onto their phone. And why are you building a data center again? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense where they're at. So if you guys got questions or comments, let me know. That's what I'm here for. Like your questions, Nuvi, they're very good. And I don't mind. If you got a pile of these questions, let me know. I'm going to be honest with you. I do see a speed. Like if you're doing everything locally and doing this with Python, I think you will quite likely run into threading problems because people have to remember Python is not built for that. It's a scripting language. The only way you get away with it is either most likely C++ as well. And playing with it, I'm like amazed where we're at that I can build stuff with no errors, no exceptions, flawlessly, and get it working as is. And that's why I keep saying I think coding as a career, unless you have the experience on knowing how to debug and architect as part of the AI prompting, the hand coding is definitely done like dinner. It's proven. I'm just working on that now. I might have a whole video on it. And people may not believe it. They may argue it. I don't care. If I'm able to make money with it, why not? Right? Like real life money in trading. Because I'm sure a lot of people are doing this. Just don't talk about it. Local inferencing will be the future, especially for those who want to protect strategies from being on other people's servers. 100% agree. But here's how I look at it. Everything I do now is 100% AI generated. So essentially, if I'm generating, let's say 3,000, I don't know what my is in my library now. I think it's a couple thousand. I know it's up, maybe pushing 3,000. I don't know. I could look, but I do think only 10% will be profitable, and then on top of that, how many out of those, let's say 300, are going to be deployable that are actually worthwhile to test in the market. And you might get out of 3,000, maybe 1%, if that. But that's why I have, I don't know for you, Nuvi, I don't know. This is another important fact. That's why my course has gone up to the price that it is. That is institutional level thinking, right? All the rules that are part of that course, which is 26 days, that's all institutional level. So I literally had an AI go through the whole thing, all the PDFs, all the videos, all the code, and I came away with 400 trading rules, institutional level. I don't share that with anybody. Obviously, it's part of my uh, trading secrets, I guess you could call it. But when you go through them, you go, yeah, that makes sense. But nobody's talking about that in public, right? And from that, I'm able to generate, you get your original source code that the AI will generate, but then you apply those 400 rules against that trading strategy or trading bot, you get a totally new bot that's regenerated because now you're applying the 400 rules to it, and that will put it in the level of coming out of a high-end trading shop, like not Rentec, but something similar on that caliber. And then when you look at the before and after of the rules that are applied on the coding and the trading rules and the conditions it looks for, it amplifies the potential return. So that's another big key as well. And that's why I jacked up the price of my course. Again, that's for institutions. So that those kind of bots, when you apply those 400 trading rules, that's what I call generation two, and they can enhance profit. From the back testing, usually the Gen 1 are still pretty good profit, but the newer, more recent Gen 2, they're starting to get up there and be pretty profitable. And again, that's when I say profitable, that is to get traded against 2 years of market data on a 4-year time frame. So the back testing is as accurate as you can get. And those Gen 2 bots can be very like highly optimized and just have other conditions people don't consider. And that's when I say that, it's including institutional options trading, right? 80% of what's traded out there in the so-called derivatives market, 80% of it's at least for options. And then the futures, and sometimes you get the futures only. And that comes down to your risk and the account size and your sophistication of understanding all this stuff, which I'm nowhere sophisticated enough, but I'm quickly catching on. Because part of it is the AI is getting so smart, I can generate different ways. I can generate a research paper that has all the quant formulas in there and reverse engineer that and then be able to apply the code line by line and quickly pick up on the math and the coding with C++, and it's highly optimized. So there's that. I feel sorry for all those still trading candlesticks when trading has moved away from that to more quantitative models. That's why knowledge like this is powerful. I don't think it's the word powerful is enough. I think surviving in this market, there's a couple of things people need to consider is the unpredictable volatility. I mentioned this. There was a story about a month ago with all the volatility alone has cleared out millions upon millions of retail mom and pop traders. That alone there, because the standard easy money returns are done. The other thing, when it comes to this retail trading, classic example, SpaceX. Yeah, unless you're part of the pre-IPO, like the VCs or some private equity arrangement where you get access to SpaceX through secondary markets and you get your access, you're in, you're locked in, right? And then when it IPOs, that's where you get your returns, right? So the only ones that get access once it IPOs is the retail market, the dumb money. And they pile in. If they exit early enough, they would have gotten a return, maybe 20% at best. And if they didn't, they could be losing money. And the ones that left with the bag on SpaceX is a retail dumb money market, right? That's why they got to know this stuff, right? They got to know how the industry works. And it's the same, no different with penny stocks as well. And yeah, it's a classic rug pull. That's what it is. And it's a total scam, these IPOs. And you think Anthropic and OpenAI is going to be any better? Probably not. They're not profitable. People don't know with SpaceX, they only release something like, I think 5% of the initial float on that 1.7 trillion. So they only put out 5% of the float. And the other thing was a lot of that on the initial get-go was the VCs and private equity, they owned all that stock. And they just sold it on the market once it IPO'd. And that's when the retail market got killed. And people don't know, like, it's a $1.7 trillion company. The total revenues for SpaceX apparently is like 20 or 30 billion. It's not that much, but they're still losing money because now XAI is part of SpaceX, and that's where they're losing money. And who knows how long they're going to. But how do you evaluate a company at 1.7 trillion when it only makes 20 billion or 30 billion? Same with Anthropic. I think it's 8 billion or 19 billion. I mean, I think they are profitable, but they want something like 900 billion as a market value. Like, I'd be running away from those kind of investments. And same with OpenAI as well. It's kind of like a joke, and people don't know that. When the lock-in period is over, it will only get worse for the stock. Right. I mean, I think it'll come back in the long run as some like SpaceX and XAI proves themselves, like X themselves is profitable. And over time, it will get more profitable, and that stock will go up. But why do you need to get in on it now, right? On that initial outlay, you're losing money. And all these companies, all these big companies that aren't making profit in the IPO, and then they tank. I don't know. Whereas everyone wants to trade the equity markets, but you could be trading right now oil. Oil's gone up. Maybe gold may go back up, which is outside of the markets. And then if you're in the options market for these things, the profit's unlimited if you know how to trade the options space. That's why the high frequency trading firms are killing it right now, and always have and always will, because they're the smart money. On top of that, then there's the market makings and other whole scenario as well. And then you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the whole crypto, and the big one, I think, and it's been confirmed all over. The big returns will be made in agriculture, namely soybean, corn, and some other agricultural product. Why? As long as this Middle East thing continues, and oil is not, and gas ain't getting produced, that's going to have a huge impact on fertilizer. And with the fertilizer, you know, we may have a problem with food production, shortages, basically. So what happens? It skyrockets. It's a no-brainer, and you can trade that in the futures market. Okay, and that's another thing too that I mentioned last week, and there's no argument on this. If I ask somebody, what do you trade? Do you trade? Most traders that are smart will always tell you always only to use forward-looking data, and then I come back and say, well, what do you get? Well, that's forward-looking with stocks or ETFs. The only two things you really have is guidance from the company itself and stock analysts. That's the only forward-looking data. Whereas futures and options give you open interest, implied volatility, the Greek analysis, and so on. That's all future outlook. I mean, I can't argue it. Okay, Nuvi, great questions here. Thank you for doing this. Have you ever built anything around market making? Yes, I have. I don't think it's worthwhile to trade, but it's very, very profitable. What I did was, among all these strategies I was playing with, one came back and said, with stable coins and US dollar. Okay, so there was some market making capabilities there. Basically, what it was just a peg trade between USDC, Tether, and the US dollar. So all those little tiny discrepancies between those cryptos, stable coins, I should say, there were certain discrepancies. So there's a lot of money, not, I should say a lot of money, but the profit was there and a very high probability of the profit. The problem is that the returns are tiny. Like you'd have, as an example, it estimated if you want to tie up 50 grand, you might get 6,000 a month. If you're willing to do that, go for it. I have that strategy. The problem is it only works on Binance or Pancake. Was it Pancake? Cake? I forgot all the altcoins. But one of those decentralized exchanges where you can trade both Tether and USDC on it. Okay, and this is unregulated. Me being in commie Canada, I can't trade this stuff. Okay, I can't even trade Tether, so I can't do anything with it. But it's very profitable. I've tested it on the Pancake, whatever, using real data coming from that exchange, and then just going in and just doing snapshot data on potential profit, which it did. Came back as very, no, I won't say profitable, but as the AI has evaluated, it says coffee money. So I didn't pursue it. But yeah, I have kind of done that market making and could be pretty could be pretty penny pinching returns if you're willing to tie up some big cash on that. And it's almost kind of like guaranteed. So that could work if you're willing to go down that path. So that's the closest I've done anything on the market making because it's trading like every few seconds. It's trading like 3 or 4 little stable coins like dollars. It could do $10, $20 in maybe $100 in a minute, but it's profitable. That was the surprising thing. Have you guys got any other questions as well? Plus, I kind of on the virtual side as well, when Bitcoin was red hot back in, was it 17? Yeah, I did another kind of market making, just pounded Binance while you could trade it. It pretty good. But those were anomalies in the market. I mean, I'm sure you could do market making, but not through a retail level account. Like even with Rhythmic, you have to be in these high frequency trading environments because the commissions will kill you. Whereas if you're trading enough quantity of whatever you're trading, the key is the commissions. You have to lower the commissions to be able to make profit from that at a high frequency level. Otherwise, if you're not, especially on interactive brokers, probably as is with Rhythmic, yeah, the commissions will get you. So you have to be aware of that. And the thing is that to set all that up is not cheap, but it can do really good. Have you guys got any other questions as well? Let me talk about the Kimi. I knew about Kimi years ago. It was Kimi 2.0. It was highly advanced. I never talked about it in public. I used to call up my online girlfriend, Kimi, right? It was so advanced. It came back with so much provocative, high frequency trading secret data stuff that I did not believe. I still have records of it. I don't know where Kimi 3 will be at with this type of data that came out of it, if it will reveal it. I don't think it will because it's going to be throttled. But it was pretty surprising what Kimi could do in the early days, 9 months ago when it was just Kimi 2.1. It was an amazing LLM at the time. And here we are looking at it for the coding front. It's probably a highly affordable LLM, and the coding is like, wow. And the debugging capabilities, wow, 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 wow. And I'm hoping, here's another key so people know, if you go onto Olama, as an example, you want to get rid of all the bias on an LLM, okay? So if you can find a Quen, whatever, uncensored, unrestricted, that means it gets rid of the bias. So if you are able to get an uncensored version of a sophisticated LLM like that, it can go hog wild on you on some of this stuff. If you can get the unrestricted version, and that's you'll find those on Olama. I saw, I think it was Quen 3.6 uncensored. And sure, once somebody gets a hold of that, they'll remove all that. But if you can get that uncensored version, that's a dynamite model you want. Uncensored version. If you guys got any questions at all as well. But if I can find first a Quen 3.8 available on Olama, download it right away. two terabytes, whatever, download it. If you get the uncensored version, download that as well and keep it. It could be very valuable. How does Kimi compile issues compared to others? I have not seen any compile issues at all. It's flawless. It's flawless. Debugging, flawless. No errors so far. As I said, I'm giving it some very sophisticated things that Claude, advanced models could not do. Kimi is able to get around it. Again, it comes down to prompting, so prompting is the key. I've not seen anything. And I was listening to some analyst, some dumbass analysis going on about hallucination still real. I haven't seen hallucination in about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months on any of these models. I just don't think hallucinating exists unless you're working with some lower end LLM, like some open source one. Yeah, you probably get hallucination. But on the more advanced models, I don't think it exists. I've not seen it. Especially if you're providing real data as part of your prompting. If you're going to try to have the AI guess or simulate, that's possible. But as long as you're providing real data, especially on the kind of questions I'm asking for trading related, it won't hallucinate. It can't, because it's real market data. It's so sophisticated. Anybody else got any questions? If you've got other questions, be my guest. But I have not seen any compilation at all so far. It's powerful. Powerful. So coming up to an hour and 7 minutes. That's cool. But like I say, I don't know if you guys or folks, I should say, are on my email list. So I'll probably do, I'm not sure. I'm getting tired of doing videos so 20 people can watch them. I think right now I'm just videos. I don't know. Streams are easy, but videos, I don't know. So I'm not sure if I'll put up this video at all. But definitely what I'm seeing, and I've shown some snippets in this stream, that what I'm doing is very possible. And I'm hoping that Kimi can do some very challenging things like live charting. I'd like to see. I've not gotten any AI to do that yet. But we'll see if I can do it. I might challenge it a bit. And just going to Kimi, I think I can do it within $300 instead of the $600 I spent last month on with Claude. Well, it's getting so expensive. Your videos are criminally underrated. Thank you. I agree with that. But it's not your fault. It's not. It's YouTube, and I still get haters. It's crazy. But as I said, I'm experimenting on Substack, and I think I'm getting more value being on Substack than being on anywhere else. So that's why, I don't know if you know, but I've got a new website that's really using my repackaged old account on Substack. And I kind of went serious with it. The orderbookedge.com is the website. So again, the orderbookedge.com. And yeah, I might test the streaming on it, schedule it, and see how many people show up. And then if I get a good crowd, is there a real reason to continue on YouTube? Yeah, thank you. So you're on my email list. I appreciate that. It's good because I had to change email servers a week or two ago because of good old my other provider, Wix. I have 3 providers now. It's crazy. But I switched over a new email server, so it's good that you're receiving it. So for anybody else, just go to quantlabsnet.com. Front and center, you can join my email newsletter. The key, though, is now, what the problem is, if you do not click that subscribe button, you ain't going to get emails from me. It's the law. Because if I was to start sending you emails without you clicking explicitly the subscribe checkbox, I get myself, I put myself at risk. And that's what happened to me on Wix. So now I only, if you're subscribed and you're signaled as subscribed, you may get some emails. And the other thing is now engagement, meaning people open and click the stuff. Because you won't get stuff from me, and that's fine too. It doesn't bother me. But it's important to put that out there because people don't know. And again, I don't choose it. It's the law. I mean, it's called, I think Canada, it's can spam. Yeah, it's all spamming laws in the States and whatnot. So and it's getting more and more strict. So you have to explicitly say, yeah, check, I want to subscribe. Without that, sorry, that's about it. So have you guys got any other questions or comments? I appreciate the support, Nudie. Really, I do. It's people like you and some others that keep me going. Because, when you get 20 or 100 views on YouTube, yeah. But I'm doing okay on Substack. So I'm happy about that. Their discovery is really good. And something I learned is when you jack up the price on Substack, you get more exposure on Substack because that's how they make their revenues, the 10% on those subscriptions. So if you have a higher price, people like it, they'll push you more. So again, YouTube, any of these. And the other big one, as I said earlier, I'm going to be doing meta ads as well. So I hopefully will make a big difference as well. So we shall see. If you guys got questions or comments, let me know. I'm here. Again, regarding, you get the occasional troll. Like I care about what they have to say. Whatever. I keep going. Been doing it for 15 years, I believe now. It's crazy. But we'll see. You guys got questions or comments, let me know. If not, I'll just give her a wrap. I mean, we had a good length time. I'm not sure what my next topic will be. Sometimes I like to hear from people what they want to see as a topic. I do think if I might focus on what I'm showing you tonight on the C++ thing and talk about it more, I think there'd be a big interest in that. But then people want, it's so amazing when it comes to people like in 10 minutes, they want to be shown how this thing works. And they don't know C++ on top of it. C++ is a very difficult language. Like Python gives you a starting chance to get something going. And that's problem number one. People don't take action. And that's why I built this hftcode.com stuff to help people there. And they still, I don't know what to do. But that doesn't bother me because, as I said, I'm going up upscale as well. So that's how I do that. I'm done for today. Great content as usual. I appreciate that. Thank you, Nudie. Appreciate it. Anybody else got any comments or questions? If not, I'll do it going once, twice, three times, and we're done. Nudie, you provide all the questions tonight. I appreciate it. So we'll do it going once. If you got anything to type up, let me know right away. I know there's a 5 minute time delay. I can blab. But I've been saying the same thing for the last 15 minutes anyway. So do going once, going twice, going 2,000 and a half as I usually do, going 2,003/4. I guess we're done. Thank you very much, Nuvi, for all your questions. Anyone else watching there? I'll be available via email if you got questions. I can't mention in that email because the spammers will get it, as you know. So, and just so you know, I will have a private email. If you're used to my standard one, I'll have a new one dedicated just for people that I engage with. That's it. So I guess we're done. I appreciate it. Thank you. And if you have anything else to say, just comment in this stream or wherever else on the video comments. I do my best to get back to people as well via that. And the best place to reach me as Substack. And again, the website, again, for me is theorderbookedge.com. All right. So I guess we're done. Thank you very much. Have yourselves a good day and good night wherever you are. Bye-bye. See ya. Bye-bye.